Morning. Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Scott. How are you?
Can't complain. What a marvelous film we saw yesterday. Huh?
It was great. And you're in for a special treat on the movie meter today because we, based on some hostile feedback in the comment section last time, we've revamped our movie meter scoring system. So now it will be 2 separate meters for each of us, and we're going to average the scores.
Complete overhaul for this Tarantino film. So what did you think, Inglorious Bastards?
It was fantastic. I thought it was really great. Classic Tarantino, like it just really felt like a Tarantino film, the way it like slowly builds up the intensity and then breaks out into an all-out violent, perfectly encapsulated in that one scene in particular where they're in that basement celebrating that Nazi's birthday, and it just slowly starts building, and then just everyone dies in that restaurant by the end. So that's sort of encapsulates the whole movie in that one scene. But
Yeah.
what did you think?
I thought it was incredible. Something that I really enjoyed was the protagonist and the antagonist, because first of all, there were kind of 2 protagonists. They had 2 simultaneous plots going on, which was a really interesting idea. So it wasn't the traditional just one good guy, one bad guy. And what was even more interesting is they were somehow able to make an antagonist who was scarier than Hitler. Like the antagonist was so evil, and it wasn't even like the guy we've been taught in school is like the worst person. It was this other leader, general guy, who we were almost even more scared of, because he was so devious and clever with how he would manipulate everybody. So that really surprised me. Sort of the takeaway. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the film was full of really well acted characters, good performances, and a good range of characters. Like I feel like Tarantino sometimes gets some heat from not being PC, but I felt like there were a lot of like minorities and people like that who are getting some revenge in this movie. One thing I wanted to pose to you was there's one scene in particular during the end where Hitler's like really laughing hard at the propaganda film of the guy shooting down a bunch of troops, and then mere minutes later, us as the audience are sort of laughing really hard at the Americans shooting down a whole theater of Nazi troops. I was wondering what you thought of the violence presented in this movie, and what you think like a commentary could be on that, and what we're supposed to feel when those troops are being mowed down in the theater at the end. It's like a reverse.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's almost like it's okay in certain circumstances to laugh at this violence. I personally wasn't laughing. I thought it was still pretty horrific and sort of overkill, but that's a good question. I don't know. What did you think about that?
I don't know. Yeah, it is. I'm not really sure either. I think there's like a commentary in like, is violence okay in some situations? Right. Is it about the violence, or is it just a tool to make us reflect on what's happening? Because it's like so extreme, you're like forced to think about like, wow, like let's pause here for a second because this is kind of over the top. But
it's kind of an eye for an eye. One person uses this horrible tactics, like why can't we use it to take them down? Which isn't necessarily the best justification, but I guess that's sort of what the rationale they were using.
I also like the commentary of like once you take off the uniform, then you're just sort of hidden in society. So the bastards would like mark the swastika on their foreheads. I thought that was a good.
There's no escaping
metaphor for
your past, what you've done.
Yeah.
What did you think about the chopping off of the tops of the heads, or for each of them? What do you think the significance of that was?
I don't know. Outside of just being like a trophy and like a fear tactic, and throwback to like the Native Americans and things like that.
Yeah, I think it was in medieval times where they would do something like that, where they thought it would actually heal people. They would like rub their actual brain. It would never work. It would just kill them. But they thought that that might be a way to like heal somebody. So I thought it might have been a reference to that, where they're like, these people are so sick, we need to take these drastic measures to heal them. But
that's a good point. Do you think they see them as sick, or do you think they see them as just like completely dehumanized as monsters?
I would. Interesting.
Because I feel like Tarantino at least he goes to like great lengths to humanize some of the Nazis, like the guy who was flirting with the owner of the cinema. I feel like he went to lengths to sort of be like, if this guy wasn't in a Nazi uniform right now, he would sort of be like a charming young guy.
Right, he had some guilt too towards the end.
But I mean, but I like the idea that that doesn't justify his actions or make.
Right.
He still gets what's coming to him in the end.
Right.
It's not like it's not like he's trying to like sympathize with the Nazis. He's just sort of reflecting how each one's an individual.
Well, I think it's about that time to get the final verdict.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give this guy a movie meter shading score of 92%.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's impressive. I'm going to do one better.
One better?
I'm going to go 95%.
Okay.
So, the average is, Scott with the maths?
93.5? Is that right?
Let's go with that.
It's easier if you add them.
It is, but some of our commenters.
Is an A.
Yeah.
Oh, average. Clearly.
There we go.
And it's definitely not flipped on the screen.
And this is scientifically proven to be the perfect percentage, perfect score for what a good movie is.
Right.
So take it from us, this is worth seeing. And great dialogue, great cinematography, great characters.
We turned down the New York Times to have our own.
We did.
Our own movie rating process. So hope you enjoyed. Till next time.